happiness isn't just an emotion, but a state of mind. Welcome to Finding Your Happiness with your host, John Polish and Nickel Lohman. For the next 60 minutes, we'll be taking a look at happiness from a whole new perspective and professionally. The phone lines are open at 702-483-4444. That's 702-483-4444. Now, let's get happy and bring on the hosts. Here's John and Nickel.
Welcome to the New Year's Eve special, the Finding Your Happiness show with John Polish, with my co-host Nickel Lohman.
Happy New Year, everybody.
So today is New Year's Eve, and this is the day when most people are out there celebrating and making New Year's resolutions. So today's show is going to be an awful lot about talking about those New Year's resolutions.
Good timing.
So before we get into that, Nickel, how was your 2014?
You know, my 2014 was awesome. I think it's definitely about making the most out of life. And 2014 was a year for me of a lot of change, a lot of balance, and a lot of things that just really came into alignment. So I feel really blessed and grateful for the last year. It started with some financial decisions, some health decisions, family and friends, vacations, a new business, and so many great relationships. And I really just think it's all tied back into my spiritual beliefs and how grateful I am.
That's great. What kind of changes did you make? What brought you there? What made 2014 such a great year for you?
For me, that was a lot of decisions that had to be made. I had to decide that I got to do something different with my finances. And some people use the word have to do something different. For me, it was deciding that I get to do something different. And with that, it was making a commitment to what was next for my finances. And I made some health choices and started a fitness and lifestyle change. And it was definitely about a lifestyle change instead of a fad diet or something other. So the other things that I did, I made more time for myself, for vacations, for family, for friends. And in that process, I realized that the business had to change. And I opened my own company.
Cool. And for 2015, what's in store?
Oh, there's a list of things. I am a goal setter like no other. So we'll go into that a little bit later on. Okay, so you talked a little bit about resolutions, and talk to us a little bit about what the history of resolutions are.
Wow, I actually did some research today, and because I was thinking about New Year's resolutions and what that meant, and just tried to figure out where that came from. And it actually traces all the way back to ancient Babylonia, where the Babylonians would, at the end of the year, make promises to their gods, and it was usually in terms of paying off debts. So not a whole lot has changed in a couple thousand years. That was something I found was carried over into ancient Rome and eventually began in almost every religion. So the New Year's resolution in itself has become more of a get right with God thing and has just kind of evolved into what we have today. And one of the other interesting facts that I found was that during the Great Depression, about 25% of Americans had made New Year's resolutions. And now today it's closer to 50%.
Wow, 50% of people are making New Year's resolutions?
Right, and when you think about what a resolution is, it's really a promise to make a change. And I found it quite interesting that so many of us now feel like there's such an urgency to make a change in our life where we didn't feel quite the same way, 70, 80 years ago.
I wonder what the difference with that is. Do you think people are happier now, or they're making resolutions because they're not as happy?
I would have to say that they're not as happy. I think there's a lot of discontent and disconnection in our world today, and I think that we kind of take this opportunity to say that we're going to make changes in our lives because we're unhappy with things. They say that a lot of times when you have less, and you can focus on just like one thing, you're not quite as miserable. It's the misery comes more in our expectations than it comes in our failures. And I've said that many times, and that's one of the things that the Finding Your Happiness brand is all about. It's focusing on those expectations. And the reason why we're unhappy is because we're falling short of our perceived need or our wants. Where I think a lot of times when we're broke, we're thinking about where our next meal's coming from. We're not thinking about, do we have a nicer house or a nicer car? Or, a lot of times our misery it's manufactured. It's things that we don't necessarily need, but we keep telling ourselves we have to have this. And so New Year's is that time when we kind of check in and decide, okay, now I'm going to get those things that I've always wanted that I couldn't get last year. So it's just goal setting, but with a sense of urgency, I think.
I would have to agree with that because it's definitely about resolving to do something different. I had no idea that the history of it went back to the Babylonian times and the commitment as far as it being a financial thing to God. No wonder Dave Ramsey's always talking about getting your finances straight.
Yeah, I had no idea either, but it's pretty cool to see that we're not the only ones that feel like we need to make change, and a lot of us make New Year's resolutions and then we don't keep them, which that's what the gist of today's show is going to be about. We're going to talk about what it is that makes people happy, what areas of their lives we're discontent in, and we're going to look at why people decide to make the changes that they do, and then also why we tend to never follow through with those changes.
Sounds good to me. Now, John, have you made any commitments for 2015?
Have I? I try not to because my life has been just so crazy and things moving in so many different directions that, 2014 was quite an interesting year for me. It was a great year, and I had no idea at the beginning of it that I'd be doing half the stuff that I'm doing today. So my resolution is to continue riding this wave and see where it takes me and just see what God has in store for 2015, because so far it has been awesome, and I'm just going to keep open-minded and keep moving forward.
Sounds good to me.
So what else do we have in store for us today? You have a list there. I believe we have a guest joining us later on. We do. Victoria Simpson is here with us today, and we're going to speak to her about her business as a holistic health coach. And that's going to happen right after these commercials.
The Finding Your Happiness Show with your hosts John Polish and Nicole Lohman, Wednesdays from 5 to 6 p.m., where we will look at happiness from a whole new perspective, both personally and professionally. Listen in as we talk with Las Vegas locals about what happiness means to them and what they're doing to find happiness. And learn how to have a healthier, happier business as we interview local professionals about what they're doing to go out of their way to make their employees and customers happier. The Finding Your Happiness Show, Wednesdays at 5 p.m.
When you started your business, did you realize that you not only had to be good at what you do, but you would have to become a social media guru, a website developer, and a master of database management? It takes a lot to run a successful business, and no one can do it alone. Fortunately, you have Nickel to help you leverage your social media, database, and website to grow your business. Keep in contact with everyone you meet and turn strangers into clients.
Chalk it up to Nickel at chalkitup2.com. chalkitup2.com.
Do you own or manage a business? When was the last time your business had a checkup? It's recommended that we get regular checkups to make sure that our bodies are healthy. Early diagnosis makes it possible to provide treatment before a disease has a chance to grow and spread. There is no better time to get a healthier, happier business checkup. We help organizations look at their operation from a whole new perspective. Our checkups help diagnose potential problems in your business before they have a chance to spread. And our prescriptions are easy to implement and cost-effective. Side effects may include increased customer satisfaction, employee retention, and productivity. You may experience an increase in profits and a happier work environment. Call now for a free initial consultation at 702-561-1088 or visit us online at healthierhappierbusiness.com. Once again, that's 702-561-1088.
Now, let's return to Finding Your Happiness. The phone lines are open at 702-483-4444. Now, here again, John and Nicole.
Welcome back to Finding Your Happiness. We have a guest with us today, Victoria Simpson. Welcome.
Thank you.
She is a certified holistic health coach and member of the American Association of Drugless Practitioners, AADP. Say that a couple times quickly. So, Victoria, you attended the Institute for Integrative Nutrition in New York City. How long ago was that?
That was back in, this past year. In this past year, I graduated in 2014 of March.
Awesome. So you've studied dietary theories, contemporary health issues and topics, and Eastern and Western nutrition.
Yes.
Awesome. And you got to engage with some of the professionals in the nutritional field, such as Mark Hyman, Deepak Chopra, and Dr. Andrew Weil. You've received your bachelor's degree from Texas Tech University for interior design as well. Multi-talented, I would say.
I am. Yeah, it's a wide range.
Awesome. So talk to me a little bit. As a holistic health coach, you focus on mind-body balance, spiritual health, digestive wellness, as well as other nutritional theories that guide your clients into vibrant lives. That sounds like a lot.
You know, it can seem like it's a lot, but it's all integrated into each other. We're mind, body, and spirit, so our nutrition, the way we live our lives, the relationships that we have, it's all interconnected. So though it may seem like a lot, they're all intertwined to give you the healthiest life that you could possibly have.
Wow, you've really simplified that.
Oh, thank you.
You know, I think that's really good too, and especially as we're talking about New Year's resolutions and being healthier, being happier, and what that looks like to us. So talk to us a little bit about, why do people make New Year's resolutions in your mind?
Well, just like you guys were talking about earlier, people make resolutions because it's a new year. So you get to say goodbye to the old, the things that you didn't like and that occurred over this last year, and you get to make a change. It's a clean slate that comes with the new year. And a lot of people make resolutions predominantly with health and nutrition. And I think the reason why is because over the course of the holiday season, people tend to gain 10 to 15 pounds. And with that, when your pants don't fit, you either have the choice to go out and buy a bigger size, or you can go on a diet and hit the gym more. And I think most people don't want to go buy a bigger size, so they hit the gym and they decide to eat more vegetables.
Well, that explains why the gyms are busier in January.
Exactly. And then at the end of January, it clears out again.
So how does that play in for your business? This is a busy time for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's a really great time for my business, especially for the people who know that they want to make a change, and there's that pain point that occurs. And that's really when resolutions tend to stick more, is you have a need and essentially a pain point is what I call it, where your need for change is greater than the potential fear or pain that may occur of being self-disciplined.
Right, that pain of those jeans digging into your side.
Yeah, exactly. Like, not being able to zip up your pants is a much greater need than, wanting to eat another cookie. So you're more likely to go out and actually eat healthier, and that's phenomenal for me as a health coach, because then I get to come alongside people and help be their accountability and really help them find what the best path for them is, because everyone's different.
So what made you switch paths from interior design into the health and nutrition field?
Well, about 2 years ago, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, and I had been healthy prior to that, and
you were healthy prior to that?
I was healthy. I was healthy prior to that.
Go figure.
Right, yeah. So I was healthy prior to that, and, was down to my, goal weight. I was a size 4, phenomenal, and then all of a sudden I ballooned up, and I felt horrible, and it was awful. And
was it the gluten?
Gluten was actually a part of it. It really was.
I hear gluten balloons people like helium.
Well, and I had a thyroid issue. So with that, I was hypothyroid, still am. And that affects your metabolism. It affects every aspect of your body, which a lot of people don't realize. So with that, I ballooned up, and the doctors weren't listening to me, and I really decided, this is ridiculous. And people need an advocate, and I wanted to find a way to help heal myself and get better and not just have to take medication the entire time. So with that, I decided to go to IIN and become a holistic health coach so that way I could help people who were really struggling and wanted a way out, and to not just take medication to mask the symptoms, but rather find a way to heal themselves.
So let me ask you about that, because I have been an athlete for most of my younger life, because not so much anymore. But I've always been sort of afraid of supplements, or like, am I eating right, or is this the best for me? How do you know? How does the average person know there's so many diets out there, so many different things, and if we want to try to get healthy and you just have no idea, I think the few times that I've checked into it, I looked at it and I'm like, it is going to cost me a fortune between hiring a nutrition coach and buying healthier foods. It's just easier to stay fat sometimes. Let's face it.
Yeah, it can seem like it's easier to stay fat, but that's going to cost you a lot more in the long run with medical bills and surgeries and cancer treatments. So with that, you're right. It can be very intimidating with all the diets that are out there. And, from year to year, there's a new fad diet that comes up. 10, 15 years ago, it was the Atkins diet. Now we have paleo and all these different kinds of diets, so it can be very intimidating. What I do with my clients is I believe in bio-individuality. So one person's food is another person's poison. So the one person may really thrive on paleo, another person is going to thrive on a vegan diet. So with my clients, I talk to them about what energizes them when they eat. I have them do a food journal, documenting absolutely everything that they eat, and then how they felt afterwards. What was their motivation to eat that food as well? Because it also goes back to your emotions and what's your motive for eating. Because especially for women, we tend to be emotional eaters, unfortunately, and we don't even realize it. So instead of just picking a diet randomly, you really focus on what makes your body feel the best, because that way you're really optimizing how your body was created, since everyone was created differently.
Is there one out there that thrives on pizza? That would be the one that I want to jump
I think that's the one that Domino's tends to promote, but yeah, that's only going to lead you to the larger pant size, unfortunately.
So what do you recommend for people if they really don't know what to do? What's the first step?
I would say the first step is making small micro changes. So instead of just going out and choosing a diet and going gung-ho, if you've tried that before and you've done yo-yo dieting, which I think most of us have, and you never last long on that, is really to incorporate more vegetables into your diet. So instead of have half of your plate be vegetables, and not just leafy salad with, half of it drenched in dressing, but really like nice steamed vegetables, and eliminating fast food. So even if it's one fast food meal a week, just slowly eliminating the unhealthy parts of your diet with healthy parts, because then it's this exchange that occurs and it's not as painful.
How long do you think it takes for somebody to really change their eating habits and get a healthy lifestyle?
I work with clients predominantly for 6 months, because that's about the amount of time that it takes for true change to occur. But I also work on more than just nutrition. So I get to the emotional level of why people do the things that they do, so that way we're hitting through breakthroughs.
Well, you mentioned a food journal, and that's one of the things I incorporated in the 2014. And I actually, when I was writing down what I was eating, I'm like, I do not want to write that down.
Right?
And I had an app on my phone, and I'm like, I do not want to see that that's what I ate, or that that's how much, or that the artificial ingredients that went into that particular item. So I think definitely what you're saying about finding something that's right for you specifically, for me, a lot of that was going back to unprocessed food.
Right. And that's one of my biggest things too, is I try and really minimize the amount of processed foods that I eat, because it brings so much toxins into your body, and it makes you feel lethargic and tired, and then you get brain fog and you don't function as well.
I did some elimination studies through a program that I did, and specifically it was, how do you feel after that? And then reintroducing it back into our bodies and what that really did. And after I ate carbs, I couldn't do anything more but look for sugar. And so at that point I said, I just get to reduce my carbs a little bit and eat some of the healthier things.
Yeah.
So you said 6 months, though. I'm stuck on that because the average New Year's resolution lasts like 2 weeks. So in June, am I still thinking about that new? How do you keep people motivated for 6 months? When do they start seeing results, and how do they start?
So everyone's different of when they see results, and it really depends on their goals as well, because not everyone is necessarily losing weight. But say for losing weight, most people should see a change within a month, and you're going to see little changes. Hopefully it's that you're getting stronger. But how you keep those long-term goals is you have your overall goal, and you have to be very specific on your why. It has to be a powerful why of not just I want to lose weight, but I want to be healthier, and I want to be at my optimum natural weight. I want to look amazing in this little red dress. And you have to find those whys, and that's what sustains you for those 6 months. And to also have micro goals within the overall goal that helps lead you to sustain that journey, because it's a journey, it's not a sprint. And I think a lot of people think it's a sprint. They go into wanting to lose weight, yet they think they're going to drop 20 pounds in 2 weeks, and that's just not obtainable, or they don't even see the scale drop, so they give up.
Well, I think that big why, most people don't want to lose weight. They want to lose weight and keep the weight off.
Right.
So if you focus on that why of, I want to be healthier, I want to lose weight, and I want to do something about this. But taking those small steps, that makes a big difference, rather than just saying I want to lose some weight.
Right. And then along the way, once you hit those mini goals, you have something that you can hold on to. It's accomplishment already. And those small accomplishments propel you into another accomplishment because you feel better about yourself. And when you feel better about yourself, you want to keep going.
Right. It's like eating that elephant one bite at a time.
Exactly.
Well, the big why that you talked about, those are some of the things. We have some more questions for you, and a lot of them are less about the how-to and more about the why. And I think we're going to, when we come back, I'd like to get into a little bit more of the why.
Great.
Do you ever wonder what makes people happy? Does it feel like there is something missing? Do you find yourself asking, why me? Or when is it going to be my turn? At Finding Your Happiness Workshops, we help people look at life from a new perspective. We do not have to let our circumstances dictate our happiness any longer. Finding Your Happiness Workshops are fun, action-packed, and full of real-life practical strategies to help you start living a happier, more fulfilling life today.
Find out more at findingyourhappiness.org. Findingyourhappiness.org.
For your next event, you could hire a celebrity or a cheesy entertainer. But why not hire someone who understands what it's like to face adversity and has a unique ability to move people into action? John Polish is an internationally recognized author, an award-winning humorous motivational speaker, and a successful football coach. So if you're looking for a healthier, happier organization, John Polish is the one you need to call to deliver the motivational pregame speech you need and direct you to implement your winning game plan. To book your next event, call 702-561-1088 or visit johnpolish.com.
Listen to the Finding Your Happiness Show with your hosts John Polish and Nicole Lohman, Wednesdays from 5 to 6 p.m., where we will look at happiness from a whole new perspective, both personally and professionally.
Listen in as we talk with Las Vegas locals about what happiness means to them and what they're doing to find happiness. And learn how to have a healthier, happier business as we interview local professionals about what they're doing to go out of their way to make their employees and customers happier.
The Finding Your Happiness Show, Wednesdays at 5 p.m.
Finding Your Happiness continues. Join the conversation at 702-483-4444. Now, here again, John and Nickel.
Welcome back to the Finding Your Happiness Show. Be sure to check us out at findingyourhappiness.org. We're here with Victoria, and we're going to go ahead and continue speaking about the different New Year's resolutions and how to be healthier and happier.
Great. So good discussion so far, and I think we want to get a little more into why people are making these choices. So first thing I want to ask is, do you guys think that losing weight, making that decision to eat healthier, do you think that that's really what makes people happier, and why?
I think it's a myth, honestly, because, listen, I've been a size 4 and I've been a size 14, and it doesn't matter how tiny your waist is. You will still continue to check out the cellulite on your thighs and wonder if you can tone up a little more, or you'll always be focusing on what's wrong if you're not already happy and content with who you are. So if you don't love yourself or even like yourself, it doesn't matter what size you are. And I think that's just a really big myth that our culture has perpetuated, that you will have this amazing life if you're really, really tiny. And though you can be happier and healthier, but that's not the end-all be-all to your happiness, ultimately.
I would agree with that. I think happiness comes from within, and it's not necessarily about a size or a weight or a number. It's, are you happy with where you're at? And I can tell you, it was a lot easier to shop in a different size, in a smaller size than it was in some of the plus sizes when I was previously shopping plus, because I didn't have some of the plus curves and things that the other women did. And I actually go into some of the plus size stores and they'd be like, "Oh, girl, you don't need to shop here." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I do. I don't fit into the clothes at the other store." So I think it was a matter of finding some happiness in size, but at the same time, it was really just about being happy. Right. Because you can be happy in any size.
Right, exactly. I mean, there are plus-size models or plus-size women who are very content and secure in their bodies, and they are happy, and they don't want to be skinny. And I fully agree with you. It's finding contentment in where you're at and being okay with who you are, and still having that goal to maybe be healthier and at your ideal natural weight, and not just always striving to be a model size.
Right, because not all models are happy.
Oh, no. I mean,
you look at what they're eating, you can tell they're not happy.
Right, exactly.
And I found that, it seems to me at least, that it's almost like an excuse. It's an excuse to not live your life, or to, I don't have the relationships that I want. So if I was only a couple sizes smaller, then maybe I'd attract a different crowd. Or,
oh, yeah.
If I only looked better, then I'd perform better at work. Or it's kind of like an excuse that we use to limit ourselves. It's like, if, and I don't have to be great, because once I reach that goal, then the real me will come out.
I think you hit it right on the head.
Yeah.
That's what keeps people from being happy, is they find excuses for reasons not to be happy. Because you can find just as many reasons to be happy as you can to find an excuse not to be.
Mm-hmm.
What about activities? I mean, this is also, in addition to dieting, we find a lot of people making resolutions about exercise, and, every gym is going to double their membership tomorrow, right?
Hopefully mine doesn't. I like to be able to walk in and get right on the machine.
Mine will.
And one of the things we talk about is living an active lifestyle. Being more active and getting involved in more things will obviously make you happier. But are we doing it? Are we putting the cart in front of the horse here? Are we saying that we're going to go join the gym so that I can be happy? Or is the act of actually getting out there and joining the gym itself enough to help us? You follow what I mean? If like just getting out on off the couch and doing it is going to help make you happier. It's not that I have to go there so that I can be buff and then I can go.
I would guess that's dependent on what your goal is. I can tell you I'm not happy going to the gym because I don't like the gym. I'm happy sitting on the couch. but I'm not happy with my results when I sit on the couch. So it's definitely about getting out and being active and doing what makes you happy. So if you're not happy at the gym, don't go to the gym. Go to the park. Walk the dog. Go dancing.
Exactly.
You're shaking your head. You agree.
Oh, completely. I agree. You have to find what's going to be the activity that sustains you and you find joy in. Listen, if you don't like being on the treadmill and you're miserable at it, you're not going to continue to do it. Just like you said, Nicole.
Oh, I don't go onto the treadmill.
Go play at the park or do something to where you're actually enjoying what you're doing, because then you're bound to actually stick with it. And then when you go do it, you're actually excited and you're happy and it's not misery.
You know, it's funny because I'll look at people on the treadmill and be like, oh, they're going nowhere fast. And then I'm standing there on the elliptical moving my arms and my legs, and I think I'm actually moving. Ironic.
And I've always said the best exercise program is one you'll stick with for more than a month, no matter what it is.
Yeah, so, find what you like to do the best and what you get joy out of. Because life is too short to be miserable, but especially when you're trying to get healthy, you definitely don't want to be miserable. That's why, the gyms empty out at the end of January.
Because people are miserable by then?
Yeah, unfortunately. Most people don't want to be on a treadmill or an elliptical.
And it all comes back to our relationships. I think that we go to the gym and all of a sudden we meet people at the gym and then we realize it's more fun to go have coffee or pizza than with those people we met at the gym. We don't have to go to the gym anymore. We've had our goal, right? We met those people.
They just opened a Skinny Fats in the same parking lot as my gym.
Oh.
Skinny, fat, healthy.
Yeah. Hey, at least you have the skinny part of that.
Right?
So there's hope in there. You also have a donut shop where you're...
Didn't notice the donut shop.
Oh, you didn't?
No, that's a good thing.
Wait, is it wrong that the health coach knows where the donut shop is?
Nope, you know where it's at.
So in addition to a health coach, you're also a designer.
I am.
Is there any tips you can give us on how to change your environment so that it can be healthy and happy?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of us, there's so many toxins and chemicals around today, and you can't avoid environmental toxins, but in your house you actually can. And our skin is our largest organ, and what a lot of people don't understand is the products that we put on our skin, we actually absorb those toxins in. And then the chemicals that we use in our house, we're also absorbing those in, or we're breathing them in. So one of the things I tell my clients is to switch to natural cleaning products, and if they can, switch to also natural body products as well.
She's making the lotion,
yeah.
the lotion motion.
Mm, yeah.
That was a joke, guys.
Yeah. The guys aren't amused. At least you and I are.
I'm just sitting here thinking, well, I'll be healthier now if I don't clean at all because I don't put toxins in here.
You still want to clean. Just like vinegar.
Hire a maid.
Yeah. Well, vinegar and baking soda are amazing natural products that are phenomenal at cleaning, and they're healthy to the environment. They're healthy to you. And it's amazing those small little changes that can make a big difference in your home.
Well, they bubble up when you mix them.
They do. It's actually really cool. It's like a fun science experiment.
Do that one with the kids tonight.
Yeah. And the other great thing is there's a lot of amazing plants that you can bring into your house that help detoxify the air. So, like, there are ferns that are really great. So having life within your house is actually, it helps clean the air and clean the environment as well. And also just decluttering is huge, because when your space is clean, you have a better ability to think clearer.
That's actually been quite an interesting topic lately, the decluttering. I've had some people at my own seminars that will come in and talk about decluttering as well. A good friend of mine who we had on last week, Dale Krause, talks about decluttering as part of his bucket list. Decluttering seems to be a huge issue. And ironically, it's also one of the top New Year's resolutions is to get organized. Mm-hmm. And people want to get organized. They want to declutter. And it's amazing how much that can do to your state of mind.
So maybe declutter those plastic fake plants you have in the house and replace them with live ferns?
Yeah, definitely. You don't need those dusty things anymore.
But I found clutter itself to be a major source of anxiety in a lot of people. And sometimes just getting rid of those things that you don't need anymore. And as I'm saying this, I'm thinking about all the tons of stuff in my house that I need to declutter and get rid of. But
I can tell you, I work better at a clean desk, just having what I need in front of me.
I do too. It just doesn't stay clean very long because I'm creative. So my desk at work, as most designers are, I like to call it organized chaos. So I know where it's at. It just looks like an atomic bomb may have gone off.
I work well with a clean desk too, but then most people get upset that I'm sitting in their desk. I have to go back and find mine. I can't find the bottom of my own. I'm just going to use yours for a while.
Somebody sat at my desk once and rearranged everything. They put all of my sticky notes in a pile. I know. It was odd.
That's really weird.
Yeah.
Why would you go into someone else's desk and rearrange?
I think that person was a little OCD. They were not invited back to my desk.
You guys wouldn't last 10 minutes in my world. We just go mess up people's desks just to see the reaction. You know?
Yeah, but that's different if it's a practical joke. We've done some of that as well.
Yeah, my office is full of jokesters.
It's fun when you have that. You know, sometimes life is about jokesters and finding your happiness.
Yeah, it is.
You just got to make sure the joke's not on you.
That's very, very true.
So we talked about Nichols' 2014. Tori, how was yours?
It was a very interesting year, full of ups and downs, and a lot of growth occurred in this past year. And just
well, I know somebody that can help you reduce that. We just hired a nutritionist, and not that kind of growth, I guess. Huh?
No, not that kind of growth. Okay. Emotional growth occurred.
You know, emotional growth is good. It does take time.
It does.
When you have faith that there's something bigger out there than you are, it makes it a lot easier to get through it.
Oh, completely. I mean, my faith in God is what absolutely sustained me this past year. And through just really life took a turn that I wasn't expecting and kind of knocked me on my butt for a little while. But
you connected with a lot of people this year. I saw a definite shift in even our relationship.
I know. It's been nice.
We've had a lot more time together.
Yeah.
So here we are. December 31st, 2014, and you're looking back at this past year, and obviously there's some pain in it, but now you're kind of on the other side of that, aren't you?
For the most part, yeah.
For the most part. Looking back at it, though, do you feel like maybe, can you see how you could have gotten yourself through it and how it's, like how you've made it through the other side? It's not quite as painful once you've kind of cleared through the clutter a little bit emotionally, right?
Definitely. You know, it's when you're in the midst of something, for lack of a better word, traumatic, it's always the most painful because you're the most connected to those emotions. But on the other side, when you finally get to see the light a bit more and you see the benefits that have come out of that pain and how God has shaped you differently and the different connections that you've made with other people and how there is good within that, then it makes it more worth it, definitely.
And that's one of the things that we do at workshops and that is we work with people who are going through those things or have been through them. And it's amazing that you find that one of my favorite movies is a Disney movie with Bruce Willis, The Kid. And in this movie, he's turning 40 and he meets this little boy who's 8 years old who's himself at the age of 8. And there's a scene in the movie where the little boy is sitting there with the 40-year-old self. And before that part, actually, the kid's like calling for his dog, and the guy's like, I don't have a dog. And the kid's like, he thinks he's like this high-powered executive, and the kid's like, so I'm 40 with no dog and no wife. I grew up to be a loser. And the guy thinks he's like doing okay, right? But the kid asks a question at the next scene, and he asks, what happens next? What happens between being me, this little kid, and becoming you? And in the scene, they kind of unfold all the different things that will happen in your life. And I've done this exercise with students quite often is I'll actually have them write a letter to themselves at the age of 40, like, are you going to do all these different things? And then go back and write a letter to themselves at the age of 8. And that's what's really powerful, is to see that these kids talking about all the things that they've gone through in their life and how now at this point when they're actually writing it, they're on the other side of those things. And when we're wrapped up in the moment, sometimes it can feel like the world's caving in on us and there's just no getting past it. But once you get past it and you can look at it completely differently, and you can learn that's what I said in the intro, is that instead of saying like, why me? Now I'm saying, okay, what can I do with this?
Well, that's definitely a perspective change. You're looking at it differently now.
Yeah, and you learn to look at it, when you learn to be able to trust and have faith, you can look at it differently as you're going through it. And there's a study that was done that asked the question, what would make people happier? To win $1 million in the lottery or to lose your legs in a car accident? And naturally everybody's like, yeah, to win $1 million. But the study that was actually done on this showed that about a year and a half later, both groups were equally happy. Mm-hmm. And what they found was that the people that won the money, now in our stuff we talk about 5 different categories: people, responsibilities, activity, money, and environment. So the ones that won money now don't trust the people. They've probably quit their jobs, so they don't have those same responsibilities. Their activities changed, and they probably bought a new house, so their environment's different too. So they've solved one problem to create possibly 4 others. But this person who has been in an accident and loses the use of their legs, all they're thinking about is getting back the use of their legs. They're not thinking about, boy, if I only had a bigger house, if I could lose these 10 pounds. Like, that's not important anymore. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's one of the things that's really important to note, is that while we're going through these things, to try to have that foreshadowing, that vision ahead to say, okay, something's going on right now, and I'm going to have to use this later on for my own good or to help somebody else. But try to look for the things that we can gain out of it that we can use later on. And I know those are the things that helped me a lot.
You made a key point there that I want to touch on. You said the now. And I saw something earlier this week where people that are depressed are looking at the past. People with anxiety are looking too far into the future. And people living in the now are happy.
It's hard to do, isn't it?
Stay focused.
Speaking of the now, we're going to cut to a commercial break right now. And when we come back, we'll have a list of some of the common New Year's resolutions. So stay with us.
When you started your business, did you realize that you not only had to be good at what you do, but you would have to become a social media guru, a website developer, and a master of database management? It takes a lot to run a successful business, and no one can do it alone. Fortunately, you have Nickel to help you leverage your social media, database, and website to grow your business. Keep in contact with everyone you meet and turn strangers into clients.
Chalk it up to Nickel at chalkitup2.com. chalkitup2.com.
Do you own or manage a business? When was the last time your business had a checkup? It's recommended that we get regular checkups to make sure that our bodies are healthy. Early diagnosis makes it possible to provide treatment before a disease has a chance to grow and spread. There is no better time to get a healthier, happier business checkup. We help organizations look at their operation from a whole new perspective. Our checkups help diagnose potential problems in your business before they have a chance to spread. And our prescriptions are easy to implement and cost-effective. Side effects may include increased customer satisfaction, employee retention, and productivity. You may experience an increase in profits and a happier work environment. Call now for a free initial consultation at 702-561-1088 or visit us online at healthierhappierbusiness.com. Once again, that's 702-561-1088.
Do you ever wonder what makes people happy? Does it feel like there is something missing? Do you find yourself asking, why me? Or when is it going to be my turn? At Finding Your Happiness Workshops, we help people look at life from a new perspective. We do not have to let our circumstances dictate our happiness any longer. Finding Your Happiness Workshops are fun, action-packed, and full of real-life practical strategies to help you start living a happier, more fulfilling life today.
Find out more at findingyourhappiness.org. findingyourhappiness.org.
For your next event, you could hire a celebrity or a cheesy entertainer. But why not hire someone who understands what it's like to face adversity and has a unique ability to move people into action? John Polish is an internationally recognized author, an award-winning humorous motivational speaker, and a successful football coach. So if you're looking for a healthier, happier organization, John Polish is the one you need to call to deliver the motivational pregame speech you need and direct you to implement your winning game plan. To book your next event, call 702-561-1088 or visit johnpolish.com.
Now, let's return to Finding Your Happiness. The phone lines are open at 702-483-4444. Now, here again, John and Nicole.
Welcome back to the Finding Your Happiness show. We have a top 10 list of New Year's resolutions.
These are the top 10. These are 5 of mine and 5 of Nichols that I think, just for fun, right?
Just for fun, that's for sure.
Okay, so these are my fun New Year's resolutions. My first New Year's resolution is to renew my membership to farmersonly.com.
Farmers only? Really?
Farmers only. I got to find me a good girl that can cook.
And she's a farmer.
Well, why not, right?
Okay. So I'm going to commit to starting another new business this year so I can work more and play less. You know what I might do? Maybe the new business, maybe I'll apply as a college football coach and hope that I keep that $8 million a year job. What do you think about that?
Oh, I love it. We're still going to beat that team up north anyway, so it's okay, Harbaugh. Take your $8 million. That's okay.
That team up north.
You saw the guy that just signed an $8 million a year contract. Come on, I can't say that.
I did. That's all over the sports channel right now.
All right, my next one will be to unfriend anyone who posts pictures of food on Facebook.
Ooh.
So that's most of your friends list,
That's
right?
going to be, I mean, or the ones that tell you how much weight they're lost each day.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna commit.
It's too tempting, right?
I'm going to commit to friending everybody that you unfriend so I can live vicariously through them. Maybe then I'll be able to publish my virtual cookbook series because, everybody's going to be posting selfies and photos of the food that they're eating or not eating anymore.
I think next year I'm going to quit my paying job and just join an MLM.
An MLM?
Have you ever seen anybody in a multi-level marketing company that's not happy? I think they all sell crack. It's just amazing. They're all super happy all the time.
Crack or diets, right? We'll just get them hooked up with Victoria. They can get into a coaching program.
Perfect.
Okay, so I think I'm going to commit to downloading more pictures of cats in sweaters and tiaras instead of self-help books and the ebooks for business that I'm currently
Nobody
downloading.
likes cats. You don't even like cats.
I don't like cats, but at this point, I am not actually getting to those ebooks that I keep downloading. At least it'd clear up my to-do list by not doing it.
I am going to invent a cell phone app that allows you to see what is directly in front of you so that you never have to look up again when you're walking.
How does that work? I guess
like
just
the
way you said
backup
it.
cam on your car, it'll be right in front of you on your cell phone.
Isn't that just called the camera?
Well, yeah, but nobody's looking at it. They're like looking down and they walk into stuff and prevent you from lifting your head.
Okay, since you're going to develop that app, I'm going to commit to taking more selfies. Because, maybe I'll do that at least once I finally get around to getting a selfie stick.
Those are pretty cool.
Those are
golf clubs with the... And my last one is I am going to quit smoking.
John, you're not a smoker.
Well, but I want to have at least one on here that I know I'll accomplish. And everybody else puts that, so I'm going to put it too.
Awesome. Well, along those lines, as far as, making some resolutions and leading a healthier, happier life, I think I'm going to commit to coining the hashtag taste-free to replace gluten-free.
None of it has taste anyway. I get it, right? Okay, so some real-life common New Year's resolutions. These are the top 6. And
the top 6 that those 50% are actually making.
These are the top 6 actual resolutions. The first one is to get healthy, whether it's lose weight, exercise, or stop smoking. Just kind of lump those together. Number 2 is to travel. 3 is to save money. 4 is to have better relationships. 5 is a better job. And 6 is to get organized. And as I was looking over this list and compiling it, I thought, okay, number 1, obviously get healthy. Everybody wants to do that. The next 5, I couldn't believe as I was going through the list, they actually line up perfectly with the personal happiness graph.
Oh.
The personal happiness talks about people, so better relationships. Talk about responsibilities. People want better jobs. We talk about activities. Everybody wants to travel or be active. We talk about money. Well, they want to save money. And then we talk about your environment, and people talk about getting organized. So that, to me, that's just confirmation that we're on track with the areas that people really want to improve in. And maybe that there's a disconnect or an unhappiness because of those areas.
So, John, if I had a disconnect in any of those 5 areas you just discussed as top resolutions, what would be the best way for me to connect with you and get into a seminar or find out a little bit more about how to find my happiness?
Well, you know what? We all have a disconnect in probably all of those areas. So the big thing is to kind of sit down. What most people don't do is they don't define what those mean. Say, I want to save money. Well, how much money and why? Or I want a better job. Well, just sit down and write out what that job looks like. So it's actually describing what you want in life. We don't sit down and we don't do the work. And that's one of the things that we do in the workshops is we make you sit down and define it, and then we give you some actual systems to put into place so that you can begin to find that, so you can discover not only what you want, but kind of how to get there. You can go to my website at johnpolish.com and see what we have coming up. Within the next couple of days, we're going to post some workshops coming up, and we are going to do a 2-hour workshop for free. We're going to continue to try to do that monthly for free. So if you can come, just get any bit of information on that. That would be awesome. But not so much trying to pitch my thing right now. I just found it interesting that those are the same things. Again, I've taken those same categories. We've applied them to a healthier, happier business too. I just want everyone to know that you're not alone, that these same categories are the ones that we all struggle with, that, they're not that hard to change, but it takes a defining moment. Takes a resolution, and a resolution is a commitment to make a change. And most of the time that change doesn't even have to happen from the bottom. It can happen from your perspective. You can just shift a little bit of what you want and make it a lot easier to get there on time. So that's all we have for today. I want to thank Tori for being our guest. One way to find happiness is to be a radio show host and invite all these beautiful women in. So this has been awesome for me. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, John, and thanks, Tori, for being here. It definitely is about resolving to be better and to continue to find your happiness.
Happy New Year's, and God bless you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.